Am I the astronaut for buying an expired cake? Hey Dusty, love all the content from you, Candy, and the whole Thunder team. I need some advice on whether or not I'm the astronaut, and I'm leaning towards saying that I am, but I need the wisdom of Dusty to help me decide. I don't know how much wisdom I have, but I do have a gray beard. Maybe that's indicative. My niece, 6, recently had a birthday. We had a small family gathering at my parents' house with just my parents, my sister, niece's mom, her husband, his parents, and grandparents. It was a nice backyard barbecue, and we lucked out with great weather. Everyone was in charge of bringing something for the party, and I was voluntold to bring the cupcakes. For a little bit of context, I'm currently struggling financially. I was laid off from my job 2 months ago, and I haven't been able to find a new job. I also have a medical condition that I won't go into, but it requires expensive prescriptions that I now have to pay for out of pocket since I lost my insurance. I love my niece, so I wasn't going to disappoint her and not deliver on the cake, but I wanted to get her a very nice cake from a local bakery, but I quickly discovered that they were way out of my budget. I wish I could spend $100 on a nice cake for my niece, but I just can't swing it right now. I decided to check out the bakery at my local supermarket, and to my surprise, they had the perfect cake and the colors even matched the Little Mermaid theme. It was on the day-old shelf, and I got it for a great price. I couldn't wait to take it to the party over the weekend. On the day of the party, everyone was pleasantly surprised by the cake that I brought. Oh, I think they thought I would mess it up. So I was feeling great that I snagged such an awesome cake for a great price. We sang happy birthday and cut the cake. I will admit the icing was a little bit hard, but not too bad. Everyone was enjoying the cake when suddenly my sister looked at her husband's piece and said, "What is that?" She was referring to a few greenish spots in the cake. My dad said, "Oh, they must have baked in sprinkles." It was not sprinkles. It was mold. Oh, no. No, so up to this point, I was like, oh, you know, if they were selling it at the store on the day old rack, surely it was still okay. But then the extra days happened and then mold? Everyone, including myself, was horrified. Everyone began spitting out their cake and freaking out. My sister went off on me. She was yelling at me for being so cheap that I bought a moldy cake and how I ruined her daughter's birthday. I lost it. I kept apologizing and finally I left. I've sent out so many apologies in our family group chat, but my sister still isn't talking to me. Everyone else has been understanding that I was trying to save money and it was an honest mistake. I feel terrible. Looking back, I wish I would have just spent the money on a good cake and I could have avoided this embarrassment. Am I the astronaut? Here I think is where this went sideways. So she got the cake on the day old rack and I'm sure at that point it was okay. But then how many days happened between buying the cake and the party? I couldn't wait to take it to the party over the weekend. Do we know? We don't know. We don't know how many days happened there, but I think it was probably a should have been refrigerated kind of process here, like between buying the cake and taking it to the party. If it was just left out over that process, that probably would have accelerated some of that. So I understand the sentiment here, and it is. I would never, ever, ever think that a cake that was sold at a supermarket, even on like the day old rack you could cut into and would have mold in it. Then again, I may not think of that. Candy Thunder, first thing you said was, oh, they didn't put it in the fridge. So I think that may be the misstep here, is that it was not put in the fridge to be able to keep and make it extend longer, but it was an honest mistake. You didn't maliciously give these people a mold cake. You know, what do they say? It's like another year older and molding. Isn't that part of the birthday saying? No? Okay. I don't know. It was an honest mistake, and I don't know. I know where you were coming from. You didn't do it maliciously here. You didn't give people that you love a mold cake on purpose here. I don't think there's anything for anybody to get pissed off about. In the very beginning of this story, if you were asked to do something that you financially couldn't comfortably do, I think at that point, that's when you stand up and you're like, hey, I can't. I wish that I could, but I can't. And you tried to do something with what you had available and tried to do something good and it fell apart. I don't think it's your fault. It wasn't malicious. It was an accident. Putting her kid's cake on you, that's where this went sideways. This should not have happened. If she knew your position, she should be securing the cake for her own daughter anyway, not putting it off on you, who is already strapped and it's not your kid. Your sister's the asshole here. And then getting pissed off at you for an honest mistake for something she should have handled in the first place? No, you're absolutely not the asshole. If the cake was not refrigerated, probably should have been refrigerated. Otherwise, 100% not the asshole. They shouldn't have asked you to do this in the first place. Her kid, her responsibility. Also, knowing that you're strapped, knowing that you're going through medical stuff that is expensive and still asking you to do this, your sister's an asshole. And then getting pissed off at you while everyone else is understanding, yeah, your sister's an asshole. Sister is an asshole. Where would we put her here? I don't think sister's evil, but I'm putting her all the way up at a 2 for how she handled the situation. Asking you to do this when it's not your kid, you're financially strapped, then harshly judging you for an honest mistake, putting her at 2. Putting her at 2. I don't think she's evil. Man, one more sentence and she might be, though.